Well, maybe at one point or another they did seem like they were confident. They're just really not doing well right now. You think losing your mind and all control would actually enhance their ferocity. Really, they just look like they're lumbering around and just not
mindless. No. It's not about ferocity. It's about control. If it was just ferocity, like, they wouldn't be wielding weapons. And, like, flailing around doesn't work. You need to... Like, the dangerous ones are the guys who are in control and, like, they lunge at the proper time and stuff.
You are really enjoying that mask way too much, aren't you?
Hello, everybody! We're back at the death hallway, and I tell you what we're gonna do this time. Is we're gonna do this.
Lure him out?
We're gonna be much smarter about it.
Good thinking. Lure him out, choke him out, make sure we don't, overwhelm ourselves before. Have them at our front, and not have anyone poking at both sides.
I'm sorry, I killed him while you were over-planning it.
Oh, there goes my fun.
Go, gadget pyromancy. That flame is such a godsend. Like, wow.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, also, in case you guys were wondering why there's not a green thing here, we died! Like another 4 times trying to get back here. That footage is on recording, so that's good. Just gonna get played right here.
Yeah, shame. We don't seem like we'll... Oh, wait, go back for a second. Was that a shade marker? No,
What?
wait, that was just... No, never mind. It was just... You see that little, like, stone in the center of the floor right there? It looked like that was a summon sign, but the lighting just made it look like it was when it really wasn't.
Yeah, like, summon signs won't show up on some random-ass bridge like that. Like, they're important enough that they're in... Like, if it's an NPC, it might be kind of hidden in a corner somewhere or something. And if it's a player, they want to be summoned, so they're gonna stick it next to the bonfire.
Yeah, typically that's where I find most summon signs in my games. But the occasional time I'll, like, if I can't go back, I'll sometimes put a summon sign down there and I'll get summoned, or I might come across a random one somewhere. But yeah, most summon signs I typically find just at a bonfire, and I wish I could see them a bit more in, like, places where I would need someone but they really aren't. But sometimes I just don't have a choice but to put it down somewhere and hope for the best. With me, which is kind of a shame, because typically my soul memory is pretty high. So normally people are summoning me, I'm just not summoning them. Which is kind of a shame, because there are a lot of times where I find myself dying due to lack of health.
Yay, bonfire!
Are people even playing these games much these days? Because I'm wondering if that's the reason for it.
For what?
Like playing Dark Souls, why I typically don't see summon signs very often.
Maybe? Dude, they're not new games. Bloodborne is the big new and fancy right now from these guys.
Yeah, but not on the PC.
Dude, are you seriously, like, falling asleep? Like,
No,
I just found a bonfire.
I'm actually quite conscious. It's just I get those occasional yawn moments. But back to what I was saying before. I'm actually kind of disappointed they didn't put Bloodborne on the PC. That seems like it's a very fun game.
Right, and it is, but it's also an exclusive because they needed to sell PS4s or whatever.
Yeah, it's not uncommon to see when a new console comes out, but I don't know. It's just I understand they're struggling. They're trying to put games on their new system, even though for everybody involved it's a huge risk. A lot of people just... I mean, this is the typical mindset I find when a new console comes out. I'll just wait for more stuff to come out on it. That is the biggest thing I find to be a big hamper for a lot of these consoles. Is that the technology that they have in order to make stuff for it, it's very expensive just to put something up at that quality. Not only do you have to create have the resources created for it, but the shading, it's the advertising. So much money is being put into games in these day and age, where I personally feel it isn't needed. I am feeling we're reaching to a point to where games are becoming way too expensive to make.
You're not the only one. Sorry,
I look at so many games.
I'm eating my pork chop. Very hungry.
No, it's cool. I'm fine taking the reins for a bit. To me, I actually feel like I haven't really been talking much this episode. Jeez, my throat is so dry right now. All right. Games are getting to a point where they're becoming so expensive to develop, and I look at games like what's a good example? This, for example, and games like some of the Tomb Raider games that came out in the last 10 or so years. Not the new ones, but some of the ones that had recently come before that, like Legends and whatnot. And they still look like very beautiful games. I'm under the opinion, even though I love having so many extra options to make these games look more pretty, realistic, and they have a great aspect of immersing you even further into the experience. But it's gotten to a point where it feels like you're taking quality over quantity. Not in the sense that you can get more games, but in the sense that there's more content you can get for it.
It's a different type of quality. That's what I think you're looking for. They're looking for quality and graphical fidelity at the expense of quality of aesthetics and quality of game design and quality of like frame rate and all those kinds of things. They're just looking for the newest, shiniest, highest poly count graphics.
Yeah, and I think there was this one game that came out for the PS4 sometime in the last year or so that really showed that the most. It was some I can't remember the name of it off the top of my head, but I heard more that, well, it had a great story to it, and was one of the most beautiful looking games of the year. That's all it had going for it. The gameplay wasn't fantastic, and the story didn't have...
The Order, 1886?
That is it, right there. I've heard, well, it's a beautiful looking game, there's just not much to it.
My prime go-to example for this, like, this has become a non-issue for me, like, how many times I've heard this argument made, and I am a fanboy of Nintendo and Blizzard, which I know, like, are not exactly, like, uncommon fanboys, but they are also, like, two very big, very strong developers that make quality-ass games with shiny, highly polished visuals that aren't that highest graphical fidelity possible type of thing. Like, Blizzard makes World of Warcraft, which is intentionally made to run on shitty systems so that they can have more people, and they make cutscenes in that look fantastic because they're animated well. Nintendo, the Wii U, is the weakest console by far of all of the top ones, and I keep coming back to this, that they keep making games that run 1080p, 60 FPS. They made Bayonetta 2. That game is not a simple-looking game, and they made it at 1080p 60 FPS, which is something that the other machines are somehow incapable of doing, because they just have to be the shiniest possible.
Exactly, and one thing I've always loved about Nintendo is that they always put the game and the gameplay first. While they do have some really beautiful-looking games, they always try to create a fun experience. And that's always their goal, creating a new and fun experience for somebody to enjoy. And I feel games have kind of lost that as of late. It's why I always feel like I can, even though they don't come out with as many games or any, well, I wouldn't say noteworthy, but they do feel like they're falling short on big games these days. I feel like I can always go back to them for a good experience if I can't find anything good these days. I always find myself...
Well, it just depends on where you look, man. It's not that games aren't doing that anymore. It's that there are certain companies that are just going down that route. They're choosing to go down that route, and they're fucking, like, shooting themselves in the foot for it. There's always... Nintendo and Blizzard are always going to be here. They're just too strong to go anywhere. The indie market is always going to be here because that has just established itself. little games that do all the things that big games don't do anymore. They are here. They cost $10.
Yeah, and I mean, look at Undertale. I mean, it's not a really big game. It didn't have a lot of... It survived basically off Kickstarter money. And it became one of the most memorable experiences of 2015. Right around the end, it became one of the most memorable experiences.
But
It's
that
not
is like a super sleeper hit. Like, that is not something you can really use as an example to compare a whole bunch of other stuff to. It's an example that, like, the looks don't make the game, and it's an example of a game that does that well, but it's not typical in any means.
Yeah. It's a game that, while it doesn't focus on the aesthetics or visuals, it focuses on where things count. A solid story, like a really good story experience, and some very... I don't know how I would judge the actual gameplay of it. It does keep you on your toes.
See, I would use Shantae and Freedom Planet. Those are two games I did, like, on my channel, like, like last year. And those are games that do the gameplay very, very strong. Because it's a Sonic fan game, and it's a platformer about transformation magic, and like in Pirate's Curse, like, they got rid of that and they mucked up the mechanics, and now you're just working with platformer stuff. And they are tight. They are so goddamn tight. They play fantastically. They're very smooth. They look gorgeous. They're pixel art. They are old Nintendo games made new.
Mm-hmm. And frankly, I love it when I see games like that. Just where they put the gameplay first. The stories are nice, but where it shines is the gameplay. And even like a lot of games you can go into these days and kind of forget about just like a few months later when something new comes down the road. Games like those where the gameplay shines, you don't forget very easily. I still find myself going back to play Bayonetta 2. Because even though I've beaten it like a dozen times and beaten pretty much every difficulty for it, the game is still fun. There are just those few gems out there that you can really find out there and just really say, would you go back to playing this game after you've completed it? How many games can you say have done that?
There's a lot of them. Like, that's the whole thing. Games that are that good, they are remembered because they're so good. But they're not like diamond in the rough type experiences. There's been hundreds of them over the years. It's just that games are so goddamn plentiful that they seem rare.
That's actually a very good perspective about that. Huh. Didn't quite think of it that way.
A large amount of the N64's, like, classic library is that way. A large amount of old Nintendo games in general are that way. Like, I get what you're saying, but you're speaking of them like there's only 5 in existence.
I guess, well, Nintendo I can always find myself going back to. I would always be able to just look at a title from that and just play it. That's anything for Nintendo. I guess in the long run, I'm like, in the grand scheme of things right now, I'm just thinking about everybody else. Like, there are a dozen games in my library that I just know I could just look at, and I know I probably couldn't play, like, and take it, like, just be able to replay it and not really feel as invested. Like, well, I love certain games like... Oh, what's a good example? Let me go to my games library real quick. Metro 2033. While it was a great game and had a really good story, it was kind of one of those games you could really only experience once. The story kept you going. It had a nice world that really kept you invested. But once you got through the story, there was just no real reason to go back to it.
People could say that about Undertale.
Oh yeah,
People could say that about Hyrule Warriors. I got a lot of time out of that, but there's no reason to really go back to it once I've moved on.
Yeah, but even though that's the case, that doesn't make them any less of a good game all the same. I mean, hell, sometimes Undertale's a perfect example where it's one of those experiences that sticks with you once and lasts forever. You can't revisit it.
God damn it, I'm so fucking shitty with this.
You just need to pace yourself, bud. time your swings and.
I'm
Looks like
bad
you-
with pacing. I'm very bad with pacing. I get penisy way too easily, and this is the bane of like this game is penisy's bane.
Well, I guess that's. I don't know. One kind of difference we have in this is that I think of it as a challenge, and I like to overcome that challenge. I feel accomplished when I get to the final boss of this game and I beat it. I felt like all the strife and struggle I had endured was worth it.
I get impatient way too easy. Like, I don't like games like this for that reason.
Are you
I
getting
don't
angry
like
yet?
having to redo. You saw me get angry already. I don't like having to redo the same thing 800 times and getting an inch farther each time.
The struggle is real, man. The struggle is real. But
Like,
I get where you're coming from.
It's not my preferred game type. There are dozens, hundreds of other games out there that are much better suited to me.
Well, you have to show me a couple of those games then, because I'm
Dude.
actually like.
Again, they're not rare. Of all the games that are in my Steam library, you're not gonna find another one like Dark Souls because I don't play them. And I keep framing this like I'm putting myself through this like to no enjoyment of my own. I am enjoying it. It does feel good when I make progress. It's just when you're not making progress, it's hell.
Yeah, I can understand that completely and more. Because there have been plenty of moments where I've just thrown down the controller and think I need a break from this, otherwise I'm going to tear whatever hair that is left in my head out.
I didn't keep track of where the time was when we came back from sucking. So, like, I don't even know how long this episode is right now. Get out of my face, fucking ragdoll dress man.
Quite a while, I think. We probably will have to chop this up a bit. Man, you really stirred the hive that time.
Well, they're all up there. Like, that's just what happens in that room. So did I
What
get
is
my
up?
souls
What
back
is
here or
up
what?
here anyway?
Ah, fucking shits. Shit knuckles. Whoop, whoop. And just a quick little stab. No, 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 no. No, 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 no. Okay, well, whatever.
You're gonna get your souls back at least. That's 4,000 back.
I just, you know, like, when I'm in a situation like that, what feels good is getting to roll away and picking them off. What does not feel good is getting crammed in because of hitboxes.
Yeah, I know that feeling way too well.
Okay.
Yeah, it's...
And giant poobah head blocking the path, blocking the vision. Fuck you. Fuck you. Fuck you.
You should just change the name of your title to just fuck everything.
Fuck everything isn't a name though, and it's also a song.
I remember, actually. I wish I could remember the lyrics for that right now.
Oh, great, another broken straight sword, another one of the useless things that I will never need. See, what bugs me is that I don't... Okay, 1,001 things bug me, and I don't want this to just turn into, like, Kuuribro complains about Dark Souls while suffering through it. But something about that hallway, and, like, with my current equipment setup, just isn't sufficient. Like, I can't get through there without taking so much damage that I lose most of my Estus flasks.
Yeah, that seems like a common theme with these games in general, is that you're clinging to whatever life you have, and just getting through it is the difficult part.
Well, no, that's different. Like, it's not a common theme in the game. The point of the game is to be difficult and make you be good enough to get through it. I'm saying that with what I have now, that just doesn't happen. I keep swinging and hitting the wall and taking chip damage.
You feel woefully unprepared.
Oh, right, and I'm not human, so the Solaire summon isn't here right now either.
Don't you have humanity with you?
You can't do that if you're not at a bonfire.
Oh shit, that's how that's different in this game.
Ugh, okay. Okay.
Think it's a good time to call it? Maybe just
I
come
will
back.
go and attempt it once, and we'll end it on that. I'm already pretty, what's the word? Resigned to my fate. I don't think I'm gonna make it through here. I think one of my Grand Poobah tusks is gonna bust off.
Just think, fuck it, we're just gonna do this anyway.
But we're gonna try it. We're gonna try it. I know I have beat these guys before, so
Oh
let's see
god,
how it goes.
the Belfry Gargoyles. Is that who we're fighting? We're fighting the Gargoyles? Oh,
Yeah.
son of a bitch, we're fighting the Gargoyles.
Why?
I have fought the Gargoyles. They are not fun.
They're not that bad. Maybe if I get my dodge game up, I can, like, pyromancy him down. I think I still got most of that left.
Wait, are we just fighting one or are we fighting multiple Gargoyles? If it's just one, yeah, we're good. If we're fighting multiple Gargoyles, we are fucked. That's what I did in Dark Souls.
Big thing.
I fought 6 Belfry Gargoyles at once.
See, this isn't a... Okay, well, that hurts. This isn't a bell-free gargoyle. It's just a bell gargoyle. It's different.
Yeah, it definitely... Hold on, is he gonna do that thing where he charges forward? No, he's not. Yeah, this guy definitely fights different from the Gargoyles I fought. Plus, he's bigger and has a bit more of a wide... Well, got a bit more shoulder to him. But he does look like he's
I am thankful that my flame appears to have a bigger range against him. Like, it does actually seem to aim at him. It has an arc.
Yeah.
Well, there's his buddy.
Oh, we are fighting multiple ones. God damn it.
Fucking get out of here with your flame bullshit garbage. Ah! Ah!
Oh, this is gonna be one heck of an episode we're gonna be doing next time.
Yeah, next time. We're not doing it this time. We're gonna come back next time on show, and we're gonna kick that gargoyle's ass, because I'm gonna have a plan. I'm gonna do it. We're gonna do it. I just now realized that I left all of my humanity up there inside the gargoyle room. If you crouch and don't move, she wiggles her butt. She's a cat.
Oh,
She's so cute.
Is this Toad? That's a human Toad! Huzzah! It's Scuttletail's got it! She needs to save the day!